What's up, you guys? We have a deck profile for you. Today we're talking about the Mementotlan monsters. This is a cool archetype, actually. Basically what they would do is they can destroy themselves or another Mementotlan monster sent to the graveyard to activate one of their effects. They have numerous effects, and basically the goal is to get at least 5 monsters on the graveyard with different names to special summon the boss monster creation. Very easy, 5,000 attack and defense, and then with the cool trap card, it can act basically as an Appaloosa. So let's get to it. We'll get more in detail as we go along. So we have Mementotlan Mace. So basically what she does is she acts as a hand trap while creation is on the field. She basically changes the hearts your opponent's monster until the end phase. During the main phase, you can destroy 1 Mementotlan monster on the field, or rather you control, and add 1 Mementotlan card from your deck to your hand. You can only activate this effect once per turn. So you could you can destroy 1 other or itself to activate the effect. Then we have the other hand trap, the Goblin. Basically what he does is quick effect, same thing with Mace. From the hand, as long as you have creation, you can discard this card, and all memento monsters on the field cannot be targeted by card effects, which is really good, really useful, as you want to make sure that you are destroying yourself rather than your opponent destroying you, because that's the only way their effects will go through, is by destroying themselves. So when you destroy itself during the main phase, you can send up to 2 memento cards with different names from each other from your deck to your graveyard. You can activate the effect once per turn. So it's great because Mementotlan cards, there could be a spell, trap, monster, and again, you can destroy itself or another. We have 2 copies of Gaddock. This card is fairly recent from the last set. And basically what this card does, when it's normal or special summon, you can target 1 Mementotlan card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So you can send it with Goblin, and when you send it with Goblin's effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a memento monster's effect, you can special summon this card. So a great way to send it with Goblin, special summon it from the graveyard, activate, and you can special summon itself to activate its effect, and then add any card from the graveyard to your hand. We have 2 copies of that. And also quick to note, there's a lot of 1-card combos. This is a great starter as well. This is probably your best starter, well, your second best starter, Anguish. What she does basically, on normal or special summon, you can add a Mementotlan monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. Then you can target 1 level 2 or lower memento monster in your graveyard, destroy 1 memento monster you control, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster. So basically destroy itself or another card, and special summon your Gaddock if you already use the effect, or your Mace to activate Mace's effect, or Goblin to activate Goblin's effect. Really cool card. Definitely a very important card at 3. Same thing with Dark Blade. Dark Blade, basically what this card does, during normal or special summon, you can discard 1 Mementotlan card, then target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. Chances of you actually using this effect, this first effect, is not really it's a cool effect to have, but you're not really going to use it, because I think if it said destroy, definitely makes it even more better, but the fact that it says discard, it's okay, it's decent. Especially if you have a card that you want to send, like your spells or traps that you want to have in the graveyard to add to your hand or activate one of their graveyard effects, you can do that too. But the main effect is basically destroying 1 memento monster you control, and if you do, special summon 1 level 3 or lower memento monster from your deck. So basically it will go your Anguish or any of the other ones that we showed before. This is probably your best starter, if not your second best starter, depending on how you want to go about it. And then we have 3 copies of Tatsuno Higo. This is the one that you're most likely going to be searching with Anguish's effect. So you're going to activate, search. And the reason why you do that is because it can special summon itself from the hand if you control no other monsters, any face-up monsters other than memento monsters. You can special summon it from your hand. During the main phase, you can destroy 1 memento monster you control, Send any number of memento monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard whose total levels are less than or equal to the destroy monster's original level. So most likely you're going to special summon it, pop itself, and then you can send 3 monsters. Most likely your Mace, your Goblin, and your Ghost Addict to the graveyard. You have 3 names there alongside Tatsuno Higo. And then you can use their various effects and go about it that way. You have 1 copy of Horned Dragon. So what this does, it can special summon itself when you have 3 or more memento monsters in the graveyard with different names. And then when this card is destroyed by card effect, you can target 3 face-up cards on the field, including a memento monster you control, destroy them. So you pop a memento monster, and then you pop 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field. So it's really cool, and then it's a free 2850 summon, basically. Then I add these 2 cards, 2 copies of Darkhold Dragon. I added this because it synergizes really well, because as long as a monster is destroyed by a card that does not target, you can special summon it from either your hand or graveyard. And just quick note, these cards do not target each other. So, just fun fact, that's why it really synergizes really well. So, that's a free 3000 attacker that you have, cannot be destroyed by card effects, and during the end phase, you can add a Darkhold to your hand from your deck. So, really awesome. Then we have your boss monster, 2 copies of Creation. 3 is too much, I wouldn't recommend 3. 2 I think is really good. 1 not good because they banish it, whatever, you really don't have nothing to get it back with. So 2 I think is the best number you can go with. 5000, 5000. Special summon from your hand or graveyard by shuffling 5 other memento monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard into the deck / extra deck. So really good. You want 5 monsters, shuffle it back. You really don't lose anything. You don't get minus, you don't get pluses. It goes right back to the deck, and you get to go to reuse them again. While you control no other monsters, this card can attack all your opponent's monsters once. And then also, if your opponent activates a card or effect once per turn, you can special summon 1 memento monster from your hand or graveyard. Awesome, awesome card. 5000, 5000. This is going over basically everything you could think of, as long as you don't stop its summon. And then for our hand traps, we're running 3 Ash Blossoms. Pretty simple. Don't need more of that. I mean, the hand traps is anything. You can put whatever you want there. You can put more if you want to take some things out. You could really run like 2 maces, 2 yeah, you could probably take 2 you could run 2 maces, probably 2 goblins if you want. Then we have 1 copy of Darkhold for our spells, as that was it for our monsters. Obviously that could be searched through Darkhold Dragon. You don't really need it, but I think it's really useful, especially when you need to clear the board or something, especially if you have nothing on the field. We have Bone Back. Basically what this card does, if a face-up card you control leaves the field, your memento monster, because of an opponent's card, special summon 1 creation from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. And then basically when a memento monster if your opponent moves in a memento monster out of your graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, so basically if you banish it, you shuffle it back into the deck, anything like that, you can special summon as many memento monsters from your graveyard as possible, from your hand or deck. So yeah, special summon as many memento monsters as possible with different names from your hand and or deck. You can use it once per turn. We have 1 called by, more interruptions a little bit. We run 3 copies of Bone Party. Basically this searches out your monster. You destroy 1 memento monster in your hand or deck, hand or face-up field. Take one memento monster from your deck with a different name and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense position. Then basically you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 memento monster, and it inflicts piercing damage. So you can use this effect once per turn. So imagine you have only your creation. Chances are you're gonna have creation on your field sometimes by itself. You just banish that, and then it can attack all your monsters and inflict piercing damage if they have them in defense. So great way to just inflict tons of damage to your opponent. Then we have 3 copies of our field spell, the Mementotlan. If your Memento monster battles, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. So you can't activate anything during the damage step. And then if a monster is destroyed by battle or card effect that you control, you can target one of those monsters, special summon one Memento monster with a lower level from your hand or graveyard. You can only activate this effect once per turn, and then during the end phase, once per turn, you can target one Memento spell trap in your graveyard and set it. So again, that last part is very important because your boss monster can become an Apollousa with one of the trap cards that we're going to get to. And then we also have 2 copies of Fusion, Mementotlan Fusion. It's a quick play spell, very good. You can basically special fusion summon a monster from your extra deck using monsters from your field or hand as material, including a Memento monster. If a monster is in your possession was destroyed by a card effect this turn, you can also shuffle monsters from your graveyard into the deck as material. So chances are you're going to be using your graveyard a lot, because just to get to this point, most likely you're going to have used a lot of your card effects, which destroy one another. So you can use the graveyard as a resource there. And then while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card during your main phase. Banish it from your graveyard, destroy one monster you control. And if you do, you can add one Memento spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only activate the effect once per turn, each effect once per turn. So that's it for our spells. Now we're going to our traps, which is the Infinite Impermanence. We have 2 copies. And then we have Fracture Dance, which basically pops one monster if you control a Memento monster, but if you control creation, you could pop 2 cards instead. And then when a monster is declared, attack is declared involving a Memento monster and an opponent's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard and decrease your opponent's monsters, all your opponent's monsters, attacks by 1,000 until the end of this turn. And then we have Cranium Burst. So this is the one that you're going to probably use the Memento spell, field spell for during the end phase. If this card is in the graveyard, you can basically set it from the graveyard with the field spell. And what this card basically does, it turns your monster basically into an Apollousa. So as long as you control, while you control a monster, a Memento monster, your opponent's monsters that can attack must attack the Memento monster you control with the highest attack. So whatever's there, you're going to attack it no matter what. It's almost like a final attack order or something along those lines. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can use creation, and once per chain, it loses exactly 1,000 attack and defense. And if it does, negate the activated effect. It does not destroy it, just negates it. So basically, once per chain, you have up to 5 negates. So that's it for our deck, 40. And then we have our extra deck, which is our 1 copy of Anima. We have a lot of level 1s. Anima's a very good choice now because Link Kuriboh isn't there no more. So we have Anima. We have IP Masquerena, self-explanatory. We have Little Knight. We have Donner, just for its popping effect. We have Dark. Celine helps us get our Anguish and also get some more stuff going. We have our Unicorn. We have the Real Apollousa. We have Access Code Talker. And we have Underworld Goddess. That's it for our Link monsters. And you know, chances are you're really not going to use your extra deck because it does a lot on its own to do the main deck. But this is just good to have. We have Typhon and Zeus. And the main one that you're really going to be using most of the time is your 3 copies of Twin Dragon. So what Twin Dragon does when this card battles, sorry, the text is very, very small. So any monster destroyed by battle with your Memento monster is banished. You can only use the following effects once per turn. If it's fusion summon, you can destroy 1 Memento monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, add up to 2 Memento monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. if this fusion summon card is destroyed, you can special summon one level 6 or lower Mementotlan monster from your graveyard. So this is just a great extender, also a great body to have on the full board if you want to attack and just start banishing things that battles. So it's a very good, solid card. I'm surprised it's a common, to be honest with you. So that's for the deck profile. It's a really fun deck. And I actually just want to show you a combo here involving Darkblade, 1-card combo. So you get to understand just how crazy this board you can build can get. So we're gonna go with Darkblade, right? During the main phase, we're gonna pop itself and we're gonna special summon the Anguish. All right, so we have Darkblade in the graveyard so we can know the names. And then special summon the Anguish. Anguish's effect, we're going to search the Tatsunohigo. We're gonna activate the Tatsunohigo's effect, special summon itself. We're going to destroy the Tatsunohigo. We have 2 names. And we're gonna send the Gaddock, the Goblin, and the Mace. Because again, it could be anywhere equal to or less than, right? Send those 3 to the graveyard. Then we're gonna activate Gaddock's effect, special. Then we're going to add the Tatsunohigo to our hand. We're gonna activate the Anguish to destroy the Gaddock and summon the Mace. We're going to activate Mace's effect to destroy itself, and since it can add any memento card, we're going to search the Mementotlan Fusion. Now we're going to activate the Fusion to fusion summon for our Twin Dragon by shuffling the Darkblade and the Mace back into our deck. Then we're going to activate the Twin Dragon's effect to pop itself. To pop the Tatsunohigo and search the Horned Dragon. Search Horned Dragon and another Mace. Now we're going to summon the Horned Dragon because we have at least 3 monsters with different names. Okay. Then we're going to activate the fusion spell, banishing. And while we banish, we pop a card. We'll pop the Twin Dragon. And then we're going to search for any spell or trap, our field spell. We're going to also special summon through Twin's effect, because it can special summon this card is destroyed, a level 6 or lower, from the graveyard. We're going to special summon the Goblin. Okay. Now we will activate the field spell. So you can see that, the Mementotlan field spell. Then we will use Goblin's effect to destroy the Horned Dragon. And we're going to send Combined and Cranium Burst. We're going to activate Mementotlan to special summon any memento monster from the graveyard because of the activation. We met the condition where Horned Dragon was destroyed. Okay? So we'll special summon any card that's under that level. So you can put any card, it doesn't really matter at this point. You could bring back the Gaddick. Okay, so we're gonna have the Gaddick and the Goblin go into our IP Masquerena. Okay. Then we can bring back, special summon our creation by returning our Goblin, Twin, Tatsu, Gaddick, and Horned Dragon. We have all our cards there. We're shuffling them back to the deck or extra deck. And then during the end phase, we now set our Cranium Burst. And then we also have the Mace in our hand. So with one card, basically, you created a nice field of a couple interruptions. You have an interruption here, where you can take control of a monster. Interruption with IP, which can go into anything. It can go to SP, it can go to Apollosa, it could go to Unicorn, whatever interruption you need. And then you also have your creation here, which can special summon on any activation. And then on their draw phase, you basically activate the Cranium Burst, and you have up to 5 extra interruptions. So you have a lot, you have a solid board here. So I hope you guys liked the video. I know it could be a little complicated, but it's really fun. It's really easy to get to learn it. There's multiple ways. Obviously, I think you could do it with one less card. I don't think you need the Dark Blade, but there's other ways you can do it as well. You can also do it with Goblin. Just experiment. You could do a lot of cool things with this deck, especially with the new support coming up later on. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a very underrated deck, but definitely fun. Just check it out. But if you like the content, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Hit that notification so for more updates on more deck profiles and all that good stuff. So until then, see ya.